Today we are going to break down how to win more of your fights in Apex Legends, and there is no better way to do this than to go over some specific engagements. I handpicked these fights to showcase as they highlight different ways of winning against your opponents and in different environments from both your early to the end game, using tactics and tricks to your advantage just to win scenarios that you probably shouldn't be winning. If you can do this yourself, I highly recommend record your gameplay, watch it back. You will learn a ton. You'll improve instantly. I promise it. Try this, do it. It's a for sure way to have you improve a lot faster than your competition. The first engagement I am going over is all about keeping your composure and not doing anything too crazy and showing a little bit of patience. I had a teammate break off on their own. I think they thought they were like Fat ACU on Caustic, but they landed on streamer building, so I was already down right off the rip before I even got to the ground. I'm showing a little patience by standing in the building right in the middle. I'm not moving around a lot. I'm not hiding in the corner as well. So I'm just waiting for this Watson to walk into my hand, and by not moving around that much, she doesn't hear my audio. Now I'm pretty much just tracking her with the audio. I'm gonna dome the doorway. Doming the doorway lets me break it and not get shot from the person that is above me right now. So I am able to finish the Watson, and then I do fight the Horizon who drops on me. I get great shots on her. She goes down pretty quick. My teammate is busy with the Ash, so I am gonna climb up and get some shots on her. I noticed that she's already cracked and I did a little bit of damage to her, so I am going to climb back up. I apply a lot of pressure because I know she's pretty weak. I did notice there was some gray armor in the corner. That gray armor is now gone. She armor swapped it. That triggers to me that I need to do a little bit more damage to her before I do get her down. I started the engagement off down a player, but I also started off right by getting pretty much an instant knock on a player by just showing a little bit of patience. The next engagement is about never giving up, even if the fight seems really bad at times. I'm going to start this engagement off pretty right. I get a quick knock with the G7 Scout iron sights, which for me is a miracle. I then push up. I know we got someone down. I also know that there's another team nearby because we were watching this as we were coming in. This is a platinum lobby, so I will say it's not anything too crazy for myself at least, but it's also, you know, sometimes a platinum lobby can be a little bit testing. I do find that platinum is kind of the area where players try a little bit harder than the other ranks because they are trying to get to diamond. They want the diamond badge or they want the diamond trail. I use a seer scan right there to try and cancel revive that I am hearing, and then I instantly drop my ultimate and I'm staying on the roof with the ultimate out. Basically, I'm just trying to reset a little bit since we did lose a teammate. By staying on the roof here and just looking around, seeing what's going on, I am able to take a second to try and reset. I start to heal with a med kit. I realize that my teammate's taking damage and he's pushing towards me. I see the person on scan. I'm gonna try to help him out right here by also dishing out some damage. I do not have too great of shots here, and the person does chase down my teammate. My teammate gets knocked. I thought I killed the Vantage right here, but I was a little bit short. And then we have the weirdest play that I have had in a long time. These two guys pushed me, one from each side. I think my movement maybe tripped them up a little bit right here. Maybe they had to reload, I'm not sure. I get a great stick. The stick does enough damage to the Octane to allow me to get him down. And I'm gonna swap to the flatline right here because I know I had a couple rounds left and I am able to get that Newcastle down here. When I had the two guys come from either side of me when I was on the balcony right there, I for sure thought I was dead. And honestly, I should have been dead, but I did stick it out. I pushed myself a little bit further. I tried to do a little bit of movement there. I had some good shots, had a good grenade stick, and we did come out on top. The first fight was all about patience. The second one was about never giving up. And our third is really about just trying to understand what the ring is doing, being a little bit more tactical, and knowing that I have to make a play or we are going to lose the game. I'm playing a little slower off the start here, waiting to see what the ring is going to do. I'm hoping that the ring does not pull to their building. They're sitting at pretty much ultimate high ground, the God spot, and we have to run right to them if it doesn't pull to us. So I'm just trying to apply a little bit of pressure, getting some shots on them. I managed to get a knock on a player, and this triggers to me right away. I have to move up. I know that they're going to revive them, which does end up meaning they just have one player. They don't have two players to look at us or three players to look at us as we are pushing up. I get a little angle on the left. My teammate pushes up to the building. Now we're just trying to spread them out, make them look in multiple spots at once. We don't want them to be focused on all of us at one time. I'm going to move up to the building to help out my teammate. I'm going to use a portal here. By using the portal, this just gives me a quick way to retreat if I do get caught off guard in my flank or if something wrong does happen. I have a terrible angle here on the stairway. Basically, they can look at me from anywhere up top on the roof, and I have to stay on the stairway because it is the only way to get up there. I get some damage and then a quick knock. Now we do have the advantage and we have to apply pressure. As soon as we do get the knock, I kind of know that this is in our favor. I get huge damage on the second player, so I am just going to apply a lot of pressure. I try to clean him up with some hipfire shots. I miss. And then I saw on him by kicking him in the back. This fight never would have went this way if I did not get the clutch knock, and if I didn't apply pressure by pushing around. If forcing them to look in multiple areas, and overall being a little unpredictable in what we were doing and using a little bit of a tactical playstyle to our advantage. This engagement right here is all about trying to get angles for your teammates to help them out and get some shots on enemies, and then it quickly turns into understanding how to prevent a third party from really capitalizing on you. I climb up and help my teammate out right here. I get a huge spray on this player, get him down. I'm gonna look up right here. I'm waiting to see if the third player or the second player comes over to look down on me. I notice they're not doing that, so I climb up again. I get another huge spray on the enemy. I get a second player down, and then I do get shot in the side by the third player. Wouldn't have really mattered if I didn't get this person because my teammates were here, but I do jump off. I get huge hipfire shots, and I'm basically just waiting for them to chase me, and they do, and I do get even more shots on the enemy. I immediately pop a Phoenix kit because I am expecting a third party, and about 15 to 20 seconds later, we do have a third party arrive. This first floor of the building is a terrible spot to be when someone is pushing you and making that third party advance. There's 3 doorways, a balcony, a zip line someone can come up to. There's way too many angles. You can't cover everything. So what I'm gonna do is kind of do a little mini retreat. I'm gonna go to the second floor and eventually go up to the roof just to get high ground and reset the engagement, and pretty much just let me start right over from square one. We do lose a player. I get scanned. I notice since I am scanned, I back off from the ledge. I don't want them to make a play on me while I am scanned. I am gonna pop a cell because I do want to be as healthy as I possibly can be. These guys keep looking for me up top here, which does allow my teammate to do a little bit of a play here. The teammate does do enough damage, so I do drop down and clean up that teammate's fight. Now we are in a one-on-one. I get stuck a little bit here on the doorway, so I am gonna just burn the enemies that are on the ground so I can actually fight this player. I noticed that this Bloodhound was being pretty passive earlier, so I get a little bit of shots on him, and then I do a quick gun run at this Bloodhound, get him down instantly by shooting them over the bar, and overall, I am able to do a little aggressive play here. But the big thing was getting to the roof, resetting that third party, not freaking out that there's multiple angles they're coming from, and just analyzing the situation before I do clean them up. The next engagement is all about holding a power position, and I'm putting myself in the right spot with Rampart, with Sheila. I'm pushing up to the corner here. I'm not pushing into the center of the train station and then walling up. I'm gonna wall up right here on the side. This allows me to cover the staircase, the door under me, the 2 doors that come to me, and of course the drop down from above. I get huge shots with Sheila here as the players do walk in. I get 3 knocks basically instantly, which is huge. Right here, when I slide over with Sheila, I should not have done this. I probably should have pulled out my gun. Whenever you have a reposition with Sheila and with Rampart's minigun, this never goes well, and this almost shows by this Bloodhound almost knocking me in the back. I notice my teammates are shooting at the knocked players. I see a guy up top. I do a little bit of a recoil smooth here by strafing left and right and getting great shots on the player on top of the stairs. I am going to drop a barrier just to protect myself a little bit. I realize that they're not pushing up. I'm going to push up. This guy goes for an armor swap, and I get him down with the R9 spray. The huge thing here, though, was really I should not have pushed with Sheila. That could have completely changed the engagement. I should have pulled out my weapon and then pushed up. I got a little greedy with Sheila because I did just get 2, almost 3 knocks, but overall, it did work out. But either way, I should have pulled my gun and made a smart play. This next engagement is about using a little bit of team play to my advantage. A player on my team is going to get knocked, and we're going to have a nice little play here. But again, I am going to apply pressure with Sheila just because this is the same game as the game earlier. I was doing really well with Rampart's minigun during this game. I get a huge spray on the player that does peek me. If you are getting sprayed at by a Rampart's minigun, you really don't want to engage that. You want to try and disengage, get an alternate look. It doesn't even need to be from like the back. It could be from the side of them. My teammate pushes up to try to get the player. Doesn't work out. What I do here is I put a barrier down. I bait the revive. I also see that my teammate's coming up, so I'm telling him to do the revive while I look. They revive, which is now completely baiting out this Valkyrie. The Valkyrie does look at our teammates getting revived. Then they do look at me, and I am able to get the Valk down. We then do get grappled on by the third teammate. It was way too late. If that Pathfinder grappled on us when the Valkyrie was pushing, if they were a little bit more coordinated, this could have been a completely different fight. But either way, I'm using communication here, letting that teammate know that I need to get the revive right now, and it does pay off for us. This next fight really shows off the power of having some utility in your gameplay, and basically with grenades. Grenades are a huge factor in how you can create plays on players that are just, frankly, in a lot better of a position than you. This Loba and me are in a one-on-one somewhat early in the game. I'm going to throw an arc just to have that player back off, and then I am going to follow up with the vert nade. The arc basically gets them a little bit backed up, and then the vert nade is meant to drop right on their head. I instantly stim up the hill. I know that they're going to re-peek me, so I kind of am already anticipating it. I get as close as I possibly can, and then I do get some great shots on that Loba. But the big thing here was grenades are huge. You got to have grenades. If you want to know even more ways how to utilize grenades, because they are so massive in your game, check out this video right here. Hit that like button, subscribe for more. Let me know if you want more breakdowns like this, and I'll see you in the next one.